to the Roy Rundown, a podcast designed to share insights and secrets from top experts in the college sports landscape, guiding you along your own path to success. Join us in real time as we build Roy, dive into the latest NIL trends, and uncover stories from the movers and shakers in the sports business space. You'll hear from an all-star lineup of guests, including athletes, coaches, agents, fans, athletic administrators, and more. Whether you're a student athlete, passionate fan, or anyone in between, this is your go-to resource for leveling up in the new age of college sports.
Welcome back to the Roy Rundown. Today, we're thrilled to have another game-changing college athlete join us, a standout football player for the University of Minnesota, known for his incredible athleticism and work ethic, someone who's making a big impact both on and off the field for the Golden Gophers. Koi Perich. Koi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So usually I like to let our guests here start and tell the audience a bit more about their upbringing. Obviously, most know you're a local Minnesota guy, but share with the audience about growing up when you first got involved with football, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So I've been in Minnesota my whole life. Just a little town called Esko, Minnesota. It's right next to Duluth, and just my little football journey, just a little background on it. I mean, I've been playing football practically my whole life. From starting tackle in first grade, I joined 2 years old, 2 years younger to join my brother's tackle football team. So I was just a little guy playing against all the big kids, and then played Pop Warner till sixth grade. I mean, dominated that, just like usual. And then got into middle school, and that's where everything started to change. People started getting bigger. Just that's when we started playing for Esko too. So got to play with all my friends. Just played that for a few years. Got into high school. Started as a true fresh, just a freshman, but started as a freshman. Both sides. Done that. Got my first offer my junior year, and then it's just sprouted from there. I mean, from playing 3 sports in high school just to get out now. It's just awesome. I think it's all helped my football journey to where I am now.
That's great. Yeah, obviously, the confidence from an early age is very apparent, which I think has, obviously translated to some of your success. But talk a little bit about that recruiting process. I think first with, when that started, like, was there a game or a particular time when you were like, all right, I'm pretty good, but I'm really good. I'm going to play at the next level. And then from there, get into, your decision process, because obviously being, one of the top recruits, you decided to, stay local, right? So talk about that process.
Yeah. So I think I got recruited a little late, but that was because, I lived in a town with 2,000 people. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to find you, but they will find you. I mean, I always knew I was good enough to play. I remember watching these games with my dad, just chilling in our living room, and I'm more athletic than that guy already. And I was in 10th grade, so I always thought, and I always knew I had the confidence to play there. And then obviously just sprouted, and it also came to reality my junior year, and I got my first offer. And I also ever since I got that offer, I just knew I just need to work harder now. And I think that just really opened my eyes that I can do this, really, because I got the offer. And then since that, I just kept on growing. And then ultimately took off my senior year. I was able to get almost all the schools in the Big Ten. And then I got contacts with almost every school in the country. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, I loved it. It's a one-time thing, but just keep on growing and just being a top recruit. I mean, you're able to just experience so many of the top programs in the country. And it's awesome. It's just such a good time. I loved it. And it was one of the most stressful times of my life, and I don't want to go back to it. So,
Why was it that stressful? Just the decision you had to make?
Yeah, I mean, I was getting recruited for 2 years. I mean, you get called almost every day by people, so you got to be able to talk to them. You got to be able to sound professional. I mean, it's a tough time, man.
Got to be on point, man. And so what ultimately drew you to Minnesota? Again, obviously, some of the biggest powerhouse schools in the country. Not that Minnesota's not, but let's talk about it's former national champions, right? They're recruiting you, but you decide that for many reasons you wanted to go to Minnesota. What were some of those reasons? Like, what drew you there?
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota, I've always thought they were a great school. I mean, they're the first school that ever recruited me. And then they also laid down the platform just to go to the NFL. I mean, they've had safeties being drafted from Antoine Winfield to Tyler Newman. I've loved them. I mean, they've laid down the blueprint. I'm just trying to take that, and that's ultimately why I chose to go here, just because how they play their safeties. They're just dominant, and I hope we can continue that, and we're going to continue that.
I love it. And so obviously we talk a little football there, but tell me a bit more about the community and, maybe the the fans there. Like, what's a game day experience like at Minnesota? And more importantly, how impactful are the fans to the ultimate product on the field? Like, how much do they impact your gameplay?
Yeah, I mean, the fans have really showed themselves, especially this year. I mean, you could just tell the first game it was going to be a little different. I mean, we came off a losing season, so you never know like what they're gonna bring. But they came with a pretty much sold out game, and they brought the energy the whole year, from the first game to the last. If it was cold against Penn State or just super warm against Iowa, it was super fun. I mean, you could hear them from the top row to the first row. I mean, they bring the energy from the first quarter to the last. You can hear them, and it definitely impacts me. It gets me more into the game, gets me more hype, and I can just show my passion, and it's just awesome.
What's better for you to see, but have a packed stadium at home, or be on the road and see Minnesota fans on the road cheering you on? Which fires you up more?
I think a sold out stadium is definitely awesome. I love running out, especially because we go in like 30 minutes before pregame and it's not fully packed out yet, and then running out, it's just a full stadium. That's one of my favorite moments that you can get as a player. But I do love when fans travel. I mean, we just went to UCLA in the Rose Bowl, and there's probably 20,000 people there. I mean, that's from across the country. You can get that type of support. It's just nuts and really shows the passion of our fans.
And when we say fans, obviously, I think most of the times when I refer to fans, or when you say fans in general, you think like alumni, you think the community, the local community, which is all true. But what about students? Like, I feel like the undervalued fans are the student section, right? Like, what do the student fans mean to you? Like, do you, what's it like on campus? Are you taking selfies left and right before the games, or, what's the love felt like on campus for you?
Yeah, I mean, I usually just chill out on campus. I don't really go out a lot, so I'd get my schoolwork done, and I usually just chill at home. But I can tell you from the football aspect, I mean, they're packed out. They're the first section packed out in the whole stadium, and they get up there and they get roaring. I mean, I love it. I love hearing when they call my name from the stands, and I can just point at them, show them my love that I got for them, just for wearing my jersey. Or like just the other day, there was these 5 guys wearing these koi pond fish. It was pretty sick. I don't know how to describe that, but it was very awesome and very cool to see the fans in the stands.
That's great. And then football wise, obviously I mentioned before, you've garnered a bunch of different awards, National Freshman Player of the Week, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, Freshman of the Week, one of the Freshman of the Year awards. I mean, the list goes on. So talk about what that means to you personally, to have kind of your game and your results on the field be highlighted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the awards. I like to play football, but anything that comes with it, I mean, that's going to come with. If you're going to be a good football player, those awards are going to come. So I'm going to take anything that comes my way. I mean, I don't really look at that for your skill. I mean, you can vote it on it by random people. I mean, not random people, but a committee who thinks your play is better than another person's play. But I think that's a steal of joy. You can't compare yourself to others. You got to compare yourself to yourself, and that's what I focus on. I just like to focus on myself. It's just how I improve myself day by day.
Professionally stated. I like it. Team goals. All right, let's transition a little bit into the current landscape and NIL, right? NIL is obviously a reality of college football today. So I guess start off with just getting your kind of reaction or your experience as to what NIL is, right? Like obviously it was part of your recruiting process, right? But what do you think NIL has done for the game, and where do we stand here in the current college football landscape with NIL being a reality?
Yeah, I think NIL has definitely changed the landscape. I think it's allowed more schools to be more competitive, just because you're not just going to go to Alabama just to win. I mean, you can win in your hometown state if it's Vanderbilt or if it's Minnesota, just because you don't really need a motive just to go and leave states. You can just play for your hometown state. I think NIL makes a way just for, if people care about money, you can get a little money here and there, and that's ultimately, just like if you look at Johnny Manziel, like he never got paid for anything. He's probably the most famous athlete at his time. I think if you're able to attract that much attention and that much popularity, you should be confiscated for your play.
I agree, and that's one of the things that obviously we're trying to do here at Roy, is just allow athletes to really have their full market value be seen and reach their full market value, and helping fans contribute to that, right? So I guess what with Roy, when you first heard of Roy, and having this platform for fans to contribute to essentially you in exchange for content, what was your first reaction to that, and how excited were you to be able to utilize your NIL and maximize that value on top of everything you're already getting?
Yeah, I think what Roy does like pretty cool is just like how every person is just able to donate. Like, you don't need to be a big time booster that has millions of dollars. You can be your own self fan, and if you support an athlete and you want to support them, they have the app and platform to be able to do that. You don't need to go through Dinkytown. You can just do it through Roy, and I think that's really cool. And I think that's what they brought out in the college football platform with NIL, but what it's growing to be.
Without a doubt. And like I said, we're a platform for athletes to also be able to put extra dollars in their pockets. It's not an exclusive platform. Most athletes are working with collectives. Athletes are getting money from different revenue streams for different platforms. This is just an additional tool to be able to allow fans that may or may not have contributed, but have a massive passion for their hometown teams and their players to be able to contribute to that. And then another thing that I think is important to highlight is, and I'm sure you've heard this from other college athletes, is the transparency factor and just understanding what's going on behind the scenes, right? And you hear these nightmare stories about deals being made and money promised, but with Roy, you see everything there in the app and in the interface, right? Is that like, how important is that to you? When you're dealing with potentially being compensated for something, to be able to actually see, where that money's going and how much that is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give an example. Just like a few years ago, there was this Florida QB. He committed there, and he was promised a certain amount of money, and he never got any of it. I think just be able to show that your money is going to that person, and it's not going to something other than that. I mean, I think that's very important, just because like it shows reinsurance to you and also to the athlete that you're getting what you want and what they want too. I think that's pretty cool, just because you're not putting it in someone else's hands. It's your own money, it's your own decision, and ultimately you get to see where it goes.
Yeah, and to double down on that is we've worked with collectives before, and one of the biggest things that we've noticed is that fans who don't contribute to collectives, that's one of the reasons is they want to support, but they're not sure where the money is going, and so this is just another option that allows them to actually understand exactly where their money is going, the same way that athletes can see exactly how much is coming to them. And then the other thing that I want to highlight about NIL and maybe hear your feedback is like a lot of, obviously when you say NIL and, there are fans out there that are stuck in the past, but you'll see headlines about the negative, but I do want to highlight the positive real quick. And I don't know if you have any personal stories or stories that you want to talk about, but I mean, NIL has transformed lives. Like, it's been able to impact and change lives of college athletes that have never received $1 before NIL was a thing, right? So, I want to take a second to highlight the positives. Have you experienced that in any way, obviously from a personal story or any stories you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I can just share just my view on what it's brought to like some of my teammates and even like some of my roommates, like that where he's growing up and he didn't really have a lot, and his family didn't have a lot, but he's able to send back what that has given to him because of his play and what he's able to do, and he's able to support his family. Just be able to send him a few dollars here and there, that's very helpful, and I think that's really cool. And that's what college football should be about. If you're that good and you're able to attract that much attention, you should be able to support your family, be able to help your friends out, and just be able to send back a few money and be able to give them gifts. I think that's very cool, and that's just what NIL's coming to be.
Absolutely. A lot of positives there, just allowing fans to, have a bigger impact and putting more dollars in athletes' pockets. So that's what we're trying to do here. So I want to transition as we start to wrap up here a little bit to off the field, right? Obviously, everyone knows Koi as on the field. We talked a little bit before about growing up, but the phrase that I like to say often is, and it's more in regards to basketball, is the ball stops bouncing eventually, right? So myself, it stopped bouncing the moment college was over. For you, what are some of your aspirations? I guess first, let's talk future aspirations, because I know you want to play in the NFL and you will play in the NFL. So talk about your future aspirations there, and then just some of the other things that you like to do off the court that you might get involved with after you graduate or after you leave college.
Yeah, I mean, my whole life goal has been to get the NFL. It's been my life goal since I can remember, just being able to watch those guys on the field, just be able to perform and just have everybody love them. I feel like that's just a very cool thing. And it's been my dream since day one. But off the field, I could say I'm a ginormous gamer. That's what I love doing. I love doing that, taking up all my free time. I like to play just COD. I mean, all the sports games, shooter games, just all the basic high games. I mean, they're the best, man. You can't go off that. I mean, I love to go shopping too, just with my friends, just be able to walk around the mall. I've done that past however many years. I think that's very cool. You don't have to go buy anything, just be able to go look at everything in the store, what they've got. I think that's very cool. And also just chill with my friends. I mean, just be able to just have fun with them, just be able to sit in an apartment, just be able to talk. I mean, that's what we do. I mean, it's just a good time. Just enjoy the college life.
And I heard you're a big hoops fan as well. Is that true?
I'm a huge Hoops fan. Yes.
Where did that stem from, and who's your team, I guess, or I guess favorite basketball players?
Yeah, I don't have a team, but I got a player, and it's named LeBron. I absolutely
I had a feeling that was coming.
Yeah, LeBron's the GOAT. I think he's the greatest athlete of all time. So I like the Lakers now just because LeBron plays on that team. And he's also like the reason why I watch basketball. I mean, if I'm watching basketball, I'm going to watch LeBron. He makes the sport fun. I think he's the GOAT.
So are you excited about JJ leading that squad there, coaching that squad?
Oh, yeah. Way better than Darvin Ham. He actually runs plays. So shout out Darvin Ham.
Oh, man. So you do watch the games. Okay. All right. We might have to have a basketball film breakdown at some point, but that's awesome, man. Well, so last personal question I'd like to ask is, there's obviously going to be a lot of listeners here that might be, younger kids that are aspiring to be where you are right now. What's some advice you have for them?
Yeah. Any advice that I would give is just to keep working. Just work that much harder than the other person. I mean, just think of it. If he's doing this, do that much. Just do it that much more. Go catch 101 balls, and he's catching 100 balls. I mean, it's just those little things that will ultimately catch up to you then, because this life is a long journey, and day by day you got to get better each day, and just get better each day.
Competition is never stopping. Everyone wants to be there, but those who are willing to put in more work and sacrifice more will get there. So awesome. Well, the last final thing I have for you, it's called a Roy rundown rapid fire, right? So I'm just gonna hit you with some questions, and you got to hit me with the first answer that comes to your mind.
Perfect.
All right. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
If you had to play a sport other than yours, which would it be? I think I know the answer to this.
Track.
Oh, I did not. Nice. If you could have a dream NIL deal with any company, what company would that be with?
Probably a car brand. Maybe Lamborghini.
Nice. Who is the funniest person on the team?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go Zahir Rayner.
If you could trade places with anyone in the world and live 1 year in their shoes, who would it be? Who's the first person that comes to your mind?
LeBron.
What is one of your biggest strengths?
My work ethic.
Who is one of the first people to really believe in you?
My dad.
And what's one piece of advice you would give your younger self if you can go back in time?
Keep working.
Love it. Awesome, man. Well, you crushed it. We appreciate you taking time. Obviously, you've had a lot of success so far, and I know there's much more to come on the field and off the field. So just know you got big fans over here at Roy, and we appreciate you coming on the pod.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me.